It's so wonderful, such an honor to be here with you once again. And the honor is here. Oh, I'm feeling so honored because I know that this world was always calling for consciousness, was calling us to be a force of love, was calling us to wake up, was calling us to be kind, was calling us to be balanced and harmonic. And so here we are showing that we heard the call. And I'm sure that our guides were a little nervous when they send us into this world. So, but we did it. We did it, and we are doing it. We are doing it. And so I'm going to share a little bit about how to attune every day, and how to be attuned to the highest version of yourself, and using the tools that I use, or, coming up with your own tools, or using the tools that I have. But I like it, I realized how much it matters. For example, when you find a tool that really works, and then you share it with everyone who's open to it, and then someone's life might be much better just because you shared something. And so, for example, I often spoke about this German healer, Bruno Groning. And Bruno Groning, he was, a healer in Germany around the time of the World War II. And he was just an amazingly enlightened being. And I came across him because my mom sent me a video, which was in Czech. And she said, you have to listen to this. And it was a group of people sharing their experience that they had working with the method that Bruno actually gave to humanity. So, he passed a long time ago. And I thought, wow, that is an amazing method. So I'll share a little bit about it because it's all about Mother Nature. So Bruno was an amazing, powerful, powerful healer. And if you don't know the story, or if you know the story, hopefully this is interesting, look him up, because he's got a lot of people in this world who organize circles for healing, where people get together. And really, I don't know if thousands of people experience miraculous healing of the body, of the mind, of the emotional self, whatever it is. People are experiencing miracles, even though Bruno is no longer here in the physical reality. Now, after I watched the video that my mom sent me, he was basically a man who, when he was a child, he wanted to know what God is. And so as a little kid, growing up in Germany, probably with Protestant religion, he ran into the woods and he kind of asked, he said, God, reveal yourself to me. I want to know you. And what revealed itself to him was that nature is God. And that there flows within nature, you can say the Tao, the flow of nature. And that if only you can attune the body to the flow, if you really nail it, if you really fine tune it, if you find the perfection of attunement to the flow that exists, and many beautiful flows of divine power, then you are instantaneously healed and restored on whatever level needs to be healed and restored. And so he was teaching people how to sit properly. And he was using the German word for that, einstellen, which means to attune. So if you look him up, they always still call it einstellen. And so einstellen is really attunement. And what we are attuning the physical body to open up to these amazing flows of divine power, divine will, divine energy. And of course, that's healing energy. He called it the healing stream, Heilstrom. So the healing stream. And he said, if only we could see all this amazing healing energy available to us, we would always be restored and always be in our divine self. And so, as far as I know, he would gather, everyone, hundreds of people, thousands of people, and he would ask him to sit properly, to attune, and then the energy would flow. Oh, is it his birthday tomorrow? That's funny. He really came into my consciousness today, so I wanted to speak about him. That was wonderful. So I saw one video. That's all, one video. And I thought, wow, this is brilliant. I like it. You just sit properly like you do in Taoism, like we do in our meditations, like we do with Divine Mother, the way she taught us. We put our feet on the ground. We anchor to what we now know as Mother Earth. And then we also open up to the higher streams of healing energy. For example, here we open the gates of heaven to the Big Dipper, where we have the divine will flowing in. And of course, we breathe. And through that attunement, we are restored. And so we can find immense well-being in this. But of course, it's a method. We are like tuning forks, you know, so we attune. We are the open holy grail. We need to be open. We need to find where the flow is so that we are right there when it flows. So to me, the entire Tao Te Ching is about this flow. And we want to be attuned to the greatest of the greatest so that it can flow through us, flow through the antenna of the spine. And we know that the spine is not only physical, it is also non-physical. So I saw that one video with Bruno Granning and I was super curious, you know. And that night, after I saw that one video, he visited me in higher realms and I got to experience him. Birthday of Bruno, 5:30, so still tomorrow, that's great. So he visited me in higher realms, or maybe I visited with him in higher realms. And I have to tell you, he is still a healer in higher realms. And there was dozens of us that night, dozens. And it was amazing. He still walks around in these higher realms because, you know, when you go to higher realms, where do you go? You either go to the fourth dimension, hopefully to like some better parts of the fourth dimension, or you go into the fifth dimension that's, you know, nicely attuned to beautiful worlds. But of course, you can go higher. And so there he was. And dozens of us were there with him. And he asked us to lay down on the ground and to be kind of in the, you know, the position at the end of yoga class when you just laying down on your back and you just completely letting go. So he asked everyone to lay down on their back. It was almost like laying down on your yoga mat, you know. And he would be transmitting life force to every single one of us through our feet. He came and he touched everyone's feet, and into the chakras in the feet, he would transmit unbelievably massive life force. And I'm sharing this story so that you know that we have amazing, amazing helpers, and that sometimes whatever it is that you might be dealing with your life or your loved ones, we can ask to be in these healing temples and whatever it is, you know. Of course, Bruno Groning is not Bruno Groning. He is a being in higher realms who is still doing healing for humanity. And then he would come to me, he gave me the transmission into my feet. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is like having Kundalini Awakening, you know, right there. The life force was just flowing through. And so I was looking for a picture here for earthing, you know. Divine Mother always tells us to be earthing because it is through our feet that we receive life force, not shoes, not socks, but feet. And so here, for example, if you've seen the movie Earthing, I thought this was really cool. You know, when we earth, we are actually making our body so much better and, you know, feeling much more well. And so then, you know, he was coming to every single one of us. He would do the transmission through the feet, and then everybody got some kind of guidance from him, what it is for this lifetime. And I have to tell you, the guidance was all love, and it was just the most amazing thing. So whatever it is that you wish to, you know, achieve in terms of healing, it doesn't have to be physical. It can be attunement of life force. I didn't go with like physical anything, you know. I just happened to meet him in higher realms this way after watching his videos. So the power is here still with us. And so what is happening in this world? The body is changing the most. Truly, our physicality is changing so much. So when I see it with my third eye, I just think we've gone through complete remake of our physical body. But of course, it's continuing. So what is continuing, you know, I don't know if you notice, but for me, the last few days, it's really hard for me to even eat. I just feel like all the things that I liked until now, I don't like anymore. I just don't want to eat so much. Things I enjoy, like coffee in the morning, I don't enjoy it, which is really strange because I make a very good coffee. But nothing tastes really the way it used to. And so I think that's one of the, yeah, it's interesting. And then also, and this is just not me, but a lot of people that I encounter, they tell me that their skin is itching. And someone posted here in the chat that it's us crystallizing. But anyway, it's just interesting things. So pay attention to the fact that the body is changing. So how do we support the body? Yeah, the itching, it's funny. So this morning I came across this quote from Yogananda. The spine is the highway to the infinite. Your own body is the temple of God. It is within your own self that God must be realized. So it's a very different story from what, all these religions told us. The spine is the highway to the infinite, and your own body is a temple of God. Now, the body, we often talk about what happened to the body and that this is not the original blueprint. It's true. This body, kind of, we say fell into more density, got stuck in density, held within it so much density. And that's why we had all these different purification pathways. We had, for example, the Essenes, they kept the body in a pure state. They would never have any meat. They would not drink any alcohol. Obviously, I don't know if drugs existed when the Essenes were around, but they took the path of purification of the physical. But of course, then meditation, they practice the rainbow body, they practice, emotional purity, sexual purity, and so on and so on. So you see that our traditions of the mystics in the past, they knew that somehow through the body, there is a path to ascension. Now, that was very limited to small groups of individuals, took a lot of dedication. But these days, this is what's happening actually to all of us and through all of us. Yeah. So meditation right now definitely is the path for us to attune to what's happening. So I'm going to share a little bit how I attune myself every day. So I definitely use the body to attune. I think of it as, within me is the highway to the infinite, because I've seen it that when we do certain breathing techniques, when we have certain posture, when we have certain focus on, for example, source and our divine self, that we can actually unlock great mysteries within. And also it is through the body. So I always share how I travel out of body, and it's not, for entertainment, but it's also to explain that when we actually master our control over our life force, we are then able to pull our life force through the spine, through the crown, through the third eye, into higher realms. And then we stay super conscious. And when we chant Om, when we are in higher realms or realms, we get to move always up. So Om is the most powerful chant that we share here. It was really given to us through Divine Mother. Divine Mother, to me, is the sound of Om. She is the sound of creation. And she was the one who explained to me one day what Om really is. So sometimes Om can appear to you like this in your third eye. So let's say you're meditating, you're chanting Om, you are awakening your life force, you are, really focused on your third eye. And then Om can appear in the ethers and give you a transmission directly into your pineal gland. And you will really see this symbol really shining at you and communicating with you, which is pretty incredible. So once again, I want to repeat a few things. The importance of Om. Every single one of us probably use life force in some distorted ways. Maybe the thoughts, maybe, I'm sure, pretty different. Definitely, as human beings, we've had some thoughts that maybe were not so kind and not so nice in this lifetime, or maybe not so balanced. And so all of it created some kind of patterns around us. So you could see it like this. This is similar to what I see. It's in the quantum field. So all the patterns we ever created exist within our own quantum field, and we can call it karma or dharma. And so to harmonize these patterns within us and around us, of course, because we want to be harmonic, we want to harmonize all energies around us, then simple Om can actually harmonize the patterns around us. Now, to me, this is like super technology, of course, absolutely unbelievable technology. I mean, Divine Mother, being the mother of simplicity within complexity, this tool alone. So I always say, if you can, chant your Om, create some kind of habits around it. So for example, my habit is to chant Om in the shower, but I shower in freezing cold water so that my Om is also intense with, the shape shifting. It's like, oh, this is really intense. My Oms are loud. It's like screaming for help. And so, yeah, definitely the shower, it's the great time to definitely be doing your Oms. And so Then putting a little bit of water maybe in your palms before you leave the shower and chanting directly into the water. To me, that's service to the world. That water will now forever have the information of And so when you chant to the water, and then of course thanking the mother. So before you even get in the shower, having the consciousness of I'm connecting with Divine Mother in her water form, So Divine Mother, here we are. She is coming, really strong into this world. And of course, she's going to be changing our physicality. And so we are preparing for the big changes. We are also attuning to the big changes by doing the work that we do with the body. And of course, for our energy field with our light body. So all of this will really, you'll see, it's like treasure that we're building here. It will be something so useful for us to have this beautiful body of light. So another tool, I'm just quickly going to go through the tools. So I recommend as soon as you wake up, not even opening your eyes, but immediately connecting with your divine self. And then connecting through your spine, through your crown chakra, focusing on your third eye as you lay in bed before anything else happens. And then connecting with the physical body that you are in, your temple. And this temple allows you to exist, to experience, and to go through this ascension process, of course, because we're going through the body. The body really here is how we are ascending. And, we are not complete just yet. And then having some kind of something that you affirm every morning. For example, this that we have from Orin: in the center of all light I stand, in the center of all love and will I stand. So attuning your being before you even start thinking to the divinity that is within you and that is all around you. Then when you get out of bed, I recommend stretching. Whatever it is, stretch a little bit. The spine needs to stretch, but also you are kind of stretching your energy. You are liberating your field. You are expanding. We always want to be in an expanded state. So stretching the spine to me is really important. Also the neck, breathing, and then stepping into some kind of breathing practice, deep, slow breath, bringing in the prana, bringing in the chi, then hopping in your cold shower, chanting some ohms, and then of course going out. When you go outside, you want to be barefoot, no matter what weather it is. Find a way to be barefoot, at least for a few moments, and then ignite your rainbow body. Now, I do it not only through standing on the earth, I also then do a little bit of made up Qigong, where I pull the energy through my feet up into the body. I'm following the energy with my hands, bringing the energy in, opening the heart to Mother Nature, greeting her. Of course, she's so beautiful. She opens our hearts. And then through the open heart, I pull energy down with my arms down from cosmos. And I do that for at least, many minutes, whatever you feel like. And then, of course, chanting again in nature, few chants, few ohms, sing a song, something to make sound and attune yourself. Always working with your rainbow light. Your rainbow light is creation light at its best. We want to be constantly in the rainbow light. So also whatever clothing you wear, pay attention to what colors you choose. Choose color, choose white, ideally whatever mood you are in. And then going into whatever type of meditation that you have. So, and drinking a lot of water, of course. Activating your toroidal field. So this is again the drawing that I shared, I made in my journal in Ohio when we went to the Serpent Mount, when I was able to see how time is a little distorted here around the earth. But I was able to also see that the earth herself is a field of tetrahedrons, and that cosmos too is a field of tetrahedrons. So since that's the work we are doing here, it's good to know that when you do this, you are also connecting with the planetary tetrahedrons. And so you are plugging into the earth with your beautiful feet and your rainbow light. And then you are also, the top of your toroidal field is like a funnel that brings in the energy of cosmos, which also means you are plugging into higher realms when you have many beautiful tetrahedrons that are filled with light and love, of course. And so love is the key. We want to be always in love with life. So that's just the morning practice, and it goes on and on for me. And so hopefully you also have enough time to do your morning practice, because it's the key. our life is determined by how we show up every day, of course. And if we find any obstacles, we have such an amazing power to shapeshift. So for me, shapeshifting is what Divine Mother teaches. And that means also healing. So let's say there is an area of your life that needs healing, then we need to first shift the energy around it. And today is something that we're going to do with this beautiful transmission from Orin once again. We'll be going to these higher realms. You know, these beings, of course, they know that we are coming every day. You know, it's like these days, if your third eye is open, it almost seems like the third eye is always open now. And it's really strange to me, like when it isn't, you know. So let's say we go on a walk with my husband, and I'm just saying now something shifted in our reality in May, in a way that we seeing into higher realms so much easier. And even if you're not seeing just yet, you know, just keep practicing, meditating. It's all going to happen anyway, because it's opening up for us. Everything is opening up. Okay. And so our spine is where we want to focus. So let's say you do your morning practice, find some moment to sit down, meditate a little bit, focusing into the spine. And if you are familiar with the different locks that are within us, for example, in the perineum, it's good to squeeze the perineum. So for example, that's how it's part of our light body practice that we do with Daben. It's the same shape, you see. It has also the bottom funnel and the top funnel, just like you see here. It's also, in a way, you would say the tetrahedrons, one facing up, one facing down. And so the perineum at the base of the spine, we can squeeze the energy in, for example. And so I do meditation that is in the spine, breathing in the spine, all in the spine, just like Yogananda taught. And, you know, bringing awareness and consciousness into the spine. The reason for this is that basically your 12 chakras that are connecting you to your divine self and to source run through the spine. That's why Yogananda said, of course, to go into the spine to meet the infinite. Now, I found that if you do 20 minutes of breathing through the spine, where you do ocean breath, just ocean breath, which many of you practice, Ujjayi breath, through the spine, or the Hamsa breath, Hamsa, very similar to the ocean breath, that you can actually have direct encounter with source consciousness, with source. And to me, source is not something that we can miss. Once source comes and becomes visible, it really becomes visible. It's through your pineal gland. And of course, you are activating yourself to have these experiences. But again, sometimes it just takes a little bit of patience. I found this picture today and I thought this is exactly what, for example, Patricia Cota Robles, you know, speaks about. And this is also one way to depict our beautiful divine self, that when we open to the divine self, we actually connect with that beautiful laser beam coming from the heart. For those of you who have done the work with Daben, this is also part of the light body. And this beautiful laser beam of light connects us with source, connects us to our divine self. So you know that we are beings that have many bodies. We have, Yogananda said that when God created us, God had 35 thoughts to create us. So I say, well, is that enough? I don't know. But the 35 thoughts created apparently the many human bodies that we have. And so hopefully he thought it through. So here we are connecting with the different layers of our beautiful architecture. Yeah, so I think, you know, it's bringing together Tai Chi and Qigong and Kundalini Yoga and Kriya Yoga, and also the practices that inner engineering Sadhguru teaches. And so we'll find, you know, the same kind of mystery within us all. Yeah, who is he? Yeah, exactly. If you read from the books of Yogananda, you know, you will find some very puzzling things that he said. I'm always very puzzled. Some things, you know, I learned so much from him directly, but some things he never talked about. And I always wonder, you know, if they are still applicable now or not. And so we ask always our divine self, what is applicable right now? And so I find this is really applicable right now, connecting with the divine self through all the different practices. Another thing is that I also find is that in the past, we didn't really have the gift, the intensity of the violet flame. But now the violet flame is always here to assist us. It's almost like we walk in the violet flame. The violet flame is very, very present right here, right now. And again, that's something that was not in the consciousness of too many before, but now it's like, hey, it's really here. So I've seen how the violet flame is really in our energy body, and it's always saying, what would you like me to transmute? And so we can transmute all the life force that is around us that maybe was not used with all the love, like Patricia speaks about. But again, I recommend Yogananda's approach to all things, which is, hey, give all your karma to God and say, no, thank you. You created me, you can have it. And you can read about that. I really like Yogananda's approach because to me, that makes the most sense. So, Peter, I don't know exactly when the violet flame was given to us. I'm sure it was a really long time ago because we had people like Patricia Cota Robles working with it for a really long time. But it is now that you can really see it in our energy field like never before, but that's only as far as I can tell. And I've seen how now we can actually burn all the different timelines that we don't want to experience. And it's so easy. It's like, no, thank you. I don't want this. Okay, here you go. Transmutation. Oh, okay. Sorry, Andy. Sorry about that. And so definitely work your tools, work your tools. Yogananda always said, if we have some karma, we will know, right? And we will know if we have karma. It's going to be pretty obvious. The goal is to have really harmony. And so Yogananda said, if you see some karma in your life, don't say yes to it. Don't say, oh no, now I have to accept it. Don't accept it. I like his approach. Why accept it? No, thank you. That's what we say. And so here we are. Today, we will be once again working with the tetrahedrons. So this is when I got to see them for the first time a few weeks ago when we went to Ohio. I was blown away. I was describing it as a broken mirror. So we were receiving this Ayurvedic treatment, and Ayurveda is science of how to live, how to be healthy, not just physically, but also emotionally and mentally. And they have this wonderful, wonderful treatment. I enjoyed it. I know Anne, who was with me, she did not love it. But that's because they kind of blindfold you. They put pads on your eyes, and then you're laying down, and they drip some oil and herbs on your third eye for a very long time. And it's supposed to cleanse your pineal gland. And so, I loved it because as soon as they started dripping this oil and the herbs on the third eye, it opened. And so I was able to see all these cool things. And I'm seeing these tetrahedrons for the first time in my life, really. And I'm like, wow, that looks like a broken mirror, but they are all touching. And so, again, we'll be working with that today, expanding this field of tetrahedrons. What was so cool about going to this place in Ohio, the Serpent Mound, was that as you have very low population density around the Serpent Mound where we were in Peebles, you also, when you have less human energy, you are able to, of course, see more and hear more into higher realms from the higher realms. And I wanted to just mention one encounter that we had. And so we were doing all these cool meditations and chanting a lot of Om, and we were going on hikes and chanting at these beautiful kind of, we would say natural temples where people actually put a lot of rocks to kind of mark a place that would be of sacred worship. And so we were just standing there and doing our meditations and chanting into the woods. And then above me, to my right side, the Sai Baba appeared. And I find it cool because I'm not really a disciple of Sai Baba. I always say I'm a disciple of Yogananda. But there he was. And he looked exactly like this. He had his red, whatever it is called, the cloth around his head. And he told me that he is a guardian of this next planetary cycle. So it was new information to me, but actually Alex told me that that's true. And I was watching a video with Monica from the Divine Mother School. She has beautiful videos on YouTube, and I was just watching the video yesterday, and it was the same thing, that he is the guardian of this new planetary cycle. And so I would recommend either connecting with Sai Baba on your own, because apparently he's now available to all of us equally. You can do it also. Shirodara, that's it. That's the third eye Ayurvedic thing. It's very cool. And so what does it mean even to be guardian of this next planetary cycle? So you know that we are stepping into the golden age. That's exactly what he looked like. Yeah, Kathy. So cool. Yeah, it was really wonderful. It was a whole Ayurveda retreat. It was all about Ayurveda. So learning about it, but also experiencing the treatments. It was really wonderful. And so planetary cycles, you know, we have big planetary cycles, obviously, the Kali Yuga, the Satya Yuga. Those are the extremes, right? And so as we step into the golden age of Satya Yuga, which in divine years is, I think, 4,800 years, there will be a guardian. And so he will be in our consciousness guiding us. And I was introduced to him as the Sai Baba. So again, whatever, if you connect with the Divine Mother School, which is here in California in Mendocino, they have beautiful, beautiful teachings. And Alex also is, of course, a student of Kaleshwar. So she has a lot of knowledge about Sai Baba as well, and ways to connect, of course. Beautiful. So today, let us go into our work, important work here. I like to kind of say what to experience or what we will experience so that we can already have the intentions. This will be number 3 from this beautiful album. And so what is it? Every single time you do this work, even if you don't see it just yet, like I was unable to see it. I did this work, you know, this was my second time doing it, meaning, you know, like for 6 months, I did it once and then another 6 months once. And I was not able to see the tetrahedrons until really recently. So I want to encourage everyone because now I know how real it is, how absolutely visible they become. And it is like being rich, having tetrahedrons, the new wealth that allows us to actually attune to these higher realms. And so we go into a higher realm, we'll be connecting with beautiful beings, real master beings and teachers and guides who will be attuning us to new potential. Whatever potential you want to have that manifest your highest potential, whether it is in your way, like your being, your relationship, your career, whatever it is, the highest potential can be today manifested. So let us intend that. Absolutely powerful work, of course. Ideally, if you have the album, work with this a lot, of course. I always recommend taking every transmission. So, you know, there are always 12 on each album and taking each one of them and really getting to know it deeply. Ideally, what I do is 7 times. So I do 7 days in a row to really embody it. So what's happening, of course, we are working with these, to some, and maybe to many of us, non-visible structures in our field, but they are actually visible in the field. And so you are crystallizing them, you are making them very, very tangible. And that, of course, is a great investment in yourself to make these structures around yourself. So we will be working every day until the full moon, which is on the 3rd of June. And every single day we will be attuning our tetrahedrons to higher and higher and higher versions of yourself. And I know from traveling to parallel realities, we already exist in perfect realities where we already are enlightened. I like tapping into that person. And so we will be connecting with our really amazing divine self embodied in us in these other realities. The other thing is that since we are all plugging into the planetary field of tetrahedrons, imagine how amazing it is when we actually refine our own vibration, because that's the goal. The goal is actually in the end to be a harmonic human being. So this is the album that you can see here, Interdimensional Traveling with Your Jeweled Vehicle Part 2. And I will be posting recordings. I have to catch up. And so imagine when, let's say, hundreds of us are plugging into the field and we are harmonized, and then even more harmonized, and then even more harmonized, then we are creating this planetary energy here, available to all, truly bringing harmony to all life. So that's amazing service. And so thank you so much for being here. When you go to bed, put yourself in these tetrahedrons, surround yourself with the cloak of tetrahedrons, and then I'll see you in higher realms. And so remember to be chanting Om in the higher realms. Even when you're in higher realms, there are always higher realms. So thank you so much. See you tomorrow.